from the First Street Studios in South Tampa, Florida, it's time for another round of Last Call 76 with your host, Dan, Jay, and behind the camera, the one and only Jess.
What a week. What a week in football.
Oh, it's always a week in football.
That is true, but
very big moves, muscle movements.
Huge movements. Another video, we're going to talk about what happened in college and another NFL head coach in a busy week of hirings. The biggest of them all, though, at least in the NFL, Bill Belichick out as head coach of the New England Patriots after 23 seasons, 6 Super Bowl rings, 9 appearances. They were, Dan, love them or hate them, and God knows as a Miami Dolphins fan, I could not stand the Patriots. They were the team that everybody wanted to beat. And I'm sorry, I'm going to vent here. I've wanted this downfall of the Patriots for 20 years now.
But we don't want it the way it went down now.
Not the way it went down. If a human being deserved to go out on his own terms, I'm sorry, it was Bill Belichick. Because what he did for that franchise cannot be expressed. You know how many times the Patriots went to the Super Bowl before Bill Belichick? Twice. And they got massacred by Chicago in the first one. It was a fluke. That should have been Miami, no bias. Okay? That should have been Miami, Chicago too. You know that. I know that. Everybody watching this knows. They went with Drew Bledsoe. Bill Parcells sort of started the movement with Bledsoe and him. But they got beat up by Brett Favre and the Packers. When the Patriots made the Super Bowl, it was considered luck. Okay? By the way, they beat the Jaguars in year 2 of their existence in the championship game. I mean, every bounce.
And we'll talk about Pete Carroll as well.
He's coming up.
He's coming in a few shows, but go ahead.
This man took a moribund franchise that had more relocation threats, city names, because they were the Bay City Patriots, the Boston Patriots, and New England Patriots, than they did Super Bowl appearances, and made them the premier franchise in the National Football League for 20 years. The last time they were in the playoffs was 2 years ago. If this man ain't safe, no one's safe. And I know there were issues between him and Bob Kraft heading all the way back to when Jimmy Garoppolo was there. I get it. But I'm sorry, this is garbage. And I know Belichick's not done. He'll be going somewhere else next year. We'll break this down. But I want to get your perspective.
Well, okay. So will Belichick retire, in your opinion?
Not when he's this close to Don Shula. And not when he's not going to go out getting fired. There's no way his ego will allow that.
Okay, so we do know there was some issues with Brady, and Kraft got mad because Bill Belichick said, hey, we think Brady's done.
Yeah.
Basically.
He wanted to go with Jimmy Garoppolo and go younger.
Okay. However, since Brady left and had success in Tampa here, does Bill Belichick try to right the ship now too and go somewhere else? But he's only going to go to a scenario that they can win now. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. He's 72 years old.
He's not going to go at 72 years old. He's not going to go build another franchise.
No.
Would you agree?
No disrespect to him. He's not going to the Carolina Panthers. Okay? He's not going to, I don't even know who's out, trying to think who else out. I don't even know if he goes to the Chargers. I know his name's been linked to that job. But beyond Justin Herbert, there's a lot of problems with that.
Well, just so you know, breaking, Harbaugh just got reached out to by the Chargers. I got that in a feed.
So maybe they do. But I mean, I'm just saying, he's not going to Carolina. Okay? He's not going to a team that's a hot mess. He's going to go to a team that is fairly close to playoff contention. And that takes the Commanders out of it. I'm sorry. That takes Commanders.
But he's from D.C. So,
Indianapolis, right.
But so that is a fit, especially with the owners there now.
Right.
That could be a fit with a good draft pick with a quarterback.
Yeah.
It could be desired.
You know where he could go? I rampaged the division in one video. He'd go to Atlanta, dude.
You know, I think Atlanta is a spot that looks good, so I wouldn't rule that one out either. Or does he take a year off and let it settle? I don't know. Because I don't think the Saints are going to move on their coach now. We know Eberflus to Chicago. They're talking about keeping him.
Yeah.
So where is there really to go right now?
There might be a team that, if they look, there's 6 teams playing today or the next few days. If one of them underachieves and caca's to bed, somebody might go man overboard, and they might suddenly open their job for Bill Belichick.
Well, there's some underlying stuff just here in Tampa right now. in the sense that if Tampa blows it up real bad against Philly and doesn't do a good job, there's a chance Bill Belichick comes to Tampa.
That's not a bad idea either.
And Bill Belichick has a really good relationship with Baker Mayfield. So, Bill Belichick is going to set himself up, just like Tom Brady set himself up.
Right.
Look, he's got to find a place where he can insert himself and know he can win right now. He's not coming in to build a franchise that takes 6-7 years because he's too old.
No.
And he's got to go to a team that has draft capital. I would say it would have been the Bears, but unfortunately the Bears aren't moving. But don't think that still can't move.
I say, you think they're ready to Eberflus? I don't.
As of right now, they are. But with that draft capital, I mean, I would have thought for sure the Bears would have moved on Belichick and they would have moved on Harbaugh. Okay? But they made an announcement they're sticking with him. So I don't understand that. Atlanta's a good position, I think, because they're going to get a decent draft, but they could draft up too. You move up. So, but you really want to give away that draft capital? But they got some great players right now.
I mean,
so we'll see.
If I'm giving up, like just from Atlanta's perspective, and I know we got a whole draft breakdown coming up here in, season 4.
Yeah.
But listen, if I'm Atlanta, I'm a quarterback away. You got Pitts, you got London, you got Bijan Robinson. I mean, that defense is good. Their secondary is good. They're in a very winnable division.
I mean, they're just a game off of winning that division.
Yeah.
Now we already talked about the dumpster fire in the NFC South
With King FedEx as our coach.
But you bring in a quality quarterback, and let's say Tampa doesn't get it done with Baker, and then are they willing to pay Baker the 2-year, $50 million deal? I'm not so sure. Does Tampa then make a move and not be able to sign them? Because Tampa's in a big trouble. They're in a bad salary cap situation.
Right.
And they got to get Wharfs done. They got to get Winfield done. They got to get Mike Evans done. They got to get Baker done. There's a lot of problems in Tampa Bay right now. I mean, this win could take a lot of that pain away. And, they may want to spend that money. We don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a long off season, but the best way to take pain away in the salary cap and make things work with Jason Light, is to basically sit there and win this game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the truth, right?
True.
Winning heals a lot of pain.
Winning heals all wounds.
Because when it comes to salary cap, we can just keep kicking it down the road. But are they willing to do that?
It's not a phantom boogeyman, no, either. And there's a lot of people online that think the salary cap's this phantom boogeyman. It's not real, doesn't exist. It is. All you do is kick the can down the road and you just brush under the rug the bigger problems. But real quick about Belichick. I think he's back next year. I think he's 72. If he was even in his 60s, I think he might take a year off, recuperate, pick his options and see. He's 72. The clock's ticking. Now let me ask you this though. My final question on Belichick. What is his legacy, and where do you rank him amongst the greatest coaches of all time? Do you put him at GOAT mode?
Well, okay, so we got to look at things. The game's changed, and as the game's changed, the standards have changed when we talk GOATs. I hate to use that word all the time, but people just want to always use it. There's no way that any human being, whether we talk about the Deflategate, the cheating scandals, whatever. Look, every team has been pulled into that one way or the other, right? You can't, in any way, shape, or form, you cannot sit there and say that Bill Belichick is not the greatest coach in the history of the NFL. You just can't do it. Now, has his family tree of coaching done so well with the O'Briens, the Cornells? Give me a couple names,
Mangini,
Flores,
Joe Judge.
Right? I'm not so sure about that piece of it.
Charlie Weiss.
But we look at Belichick with the Cleveland Browns and how that organization has been a dumpster fire when Nick Saban and him were coaching at the Browns. And then they go on to be the most 2 successful coaches in the history of football.
Yeah.
I mean, one's got 7 national championships. The other has 6 Lombardi trophies. That will never be touched in our lifetime. Nope. I'm 53 years old. You're how old?
45.
45. Jessica, how old are you?
36.
36. I know.
You sit on a hill of lies. You sit on a hill of lies.
My point is, in our lifetime.
It's like cheese.
Honestly.
That guy can.
I remember that. That was fun. Age like cheese is supposed to be wine, but
that guy that said that.
It's an insult.
Hey, if that guy's watching you, you smell like cheese and not the good kind.
But staying on topic though, in our lifetime, I don't think we'll ever see another college coach win 6 national championships, especially the way college football has changed with the portal and NIL money. 6 national championships will never be beat in that amount of time, and no 6 Lombardi trophies will be won in that 23 years that he was there.
6 Lombardis, 9 trips. 9 trips, think about that.
Exactly.
That's you're nearly, not quite there, but you're almost 50% of the Super Bowls, and since the turn of the century, have had the New England Patriots in it. Think about that. Not quite 50.
Well, another stat, not to interrupt you, but this is the first playoff since 2008 that Peyton Manning and Tom Brady aren't in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's insane.
98.
98. Pardon me, not 2008. Correction. 1998.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's like almost a quarter of a century.
It's insane.
That's nuts. So let's leave it here. But I don't know where Bill Belichick's going to go. I think a lot's going to happen after we get through this playoffs, you know?
Yep.
And then people are going to be out there and they actually can legitimately search for coaches.
Yep.
I think Bill Belichick finds a spot if he wants to find a spot.
That's true.
If that's fair. Or it's a 1-year out deal. Chill a little bit. Go buy you a yacht. Do some Tom Brady type stuff, right? Come down to Tampa, chill. You know, because I think if Todd Bowles, to be honest, if they get blown out by Philadelphia, I think he's done.
Yeah.
I really do. I just don't think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the way they ran this tickets thing, making you buy 2 seasons ahead, you, at some point, the owners there have to make a decision.
Right.
And it's a tough decision. But it is what it is. And you can't be mediocre because Tampa Bay football is a celebration of mediocrity.
Oh, yeah.
You're winning at 50%. I hate to say it, right? We had the one good year with the wild card, Brady's first year, win the Super Bowl. I got it. But after that, it's been a celebration of mediocrity. So at some point, the Glazers are going to, I mean, you know, they're involved in the soccer over there, Manchester U. They got all these other vested interests, venture capital, so to speak.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit on Todd Bowles much longer.
No.
And it's unfortunate, but they haven't moved the needle.
Right.
And thank God for Baker Mayfield. I mean, if you think about it, I'm not saying Trask could have done it because that would be ignorant to say because we haven't seen him.
Right.
But Baker Mayfield has done about as good of a bang-up job as you can do given the circumstance. And so we'll see. Is Tampa Bay a landing spot for Bill Belichick? We'll find out Monday night.
Yeah,
We will legitimately find out Monday night. If Brady can come to Tampa and do it, why can't Bill?
Wouldn't that be some craziness?
Dude, why not? Everything else in the league is off.
Nothing's off limits. But I'll just say this: when it comes to Tampa and for Belichick, he's concrete proof. If you're not first, you're last.
That's it.
And that sucks. But it's what have you done for me lately? Welcome to the world we're in.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Hey, if you guys love our show, subscribe. We appreciate you all. Thanks for Jessica being on the camera. Thanks, Jay, for coming in, knocking these out. We're going to be here for a long time. We're doing like a bunch of shows this month, next month. So if you guys want to hit us up, ask us some questions, we appreciate it. Thanks again. I'm Dan. That's Jay and Jessica behind the camera. Deuces. This episode of Last Call was brought to you by SJP Snapshots and Meeks Inc. Clothing and Apparel.